Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. This is part 2 with our heavyweight guru, Mr. Uncle James Ali Bashir. Uncle, how we doing?
Everything is good, man.
So now we are going to be talking about the. Let me just cancel this very quickly. Hold on a second. I've got a Windows update that's decided to pop up now and say, we're going to shut your computer down in 4 seconds. Well, no, you're not. Tomorrow. Let's go tomorrow. Yeah, shut it down then. Yeah, that's right. Right, good. So we won't have any shutdown there. So we've got for you tonight, as I said, this is part 2. The Day of Reckoning, Saudi Arabia, December 23rd. We want your expert opinion on the upcoming fights. So I'll put you on solo. It's not about me, it's about you. And we'll get started. How are you doing today? How are you feeling, Uncle?
I feel excellent. Thank God. Thank God. I'm really grateful.
Fantastic. Were you in the gym earlier today, working with any fighters?
Of course, I'm in the gym every day. It's my livelihood. It's the only thing that keeps me going.
Anybody interesting that you can drop me about? You let me know what's going on there? Or is it all top secret?
2 interesting fighters in my career now is Igor Plavico and
Talk about him.
Vladislav Serenko. Those are the 2 foremost things in my career now. And a young man, Anthony Johns.
Anthony John.
Yeah, my flyweight. Those are the 3 guys that I'm working with and that I expect so much from, because those guys show me so much promise. So yes, that's what I'm investing myself into now. Those 3 individuals. Anthony John boxes here in the city of Newark. He's going to box in the Prudential Center, on Shakur Stevenson's undercard next month. And I think that he's going to do a good job. He's eager to show his wares. So I expect so much from him. I really, really expect so much from him.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So you've got an AJ in the camp then?
Pardon me?
I said you have an AJ in the camp then?
No, I think I expect more from this Anthony Johns.
You still got the AJ. You can't get rid of from the initials AJ. You've still got an AJ in camp. The other one ran away, but you got this one now.
Yeah. I can't get away from AJs, right? Anthony Johns. He has that look, and that's what attracted me to him. He has that look, and when you have that look, usually that's get that feeling. When I see that look, then I know that I got something. Anthony Johns is that guy.
But okay, if that's the case, you're a specialist at heavyweight. So to explain to viewers, how do you make the difference from the heavyweight weights, one tick or one click and the guy's getting knocked out, compared to a flyweight? What's the difference in training methods?
I think that the flyweight is highly underestimated, because there's little guys that punch hard. Mm-hmm. Their punches are deadly punches. I watched them in sparring in the gyms, and I watched them in the fights. And if you look over the history of the flyweight, their battles usually result in KOs. So these guys are big punches, little men with big punches.
So how do you what difference? Because you always say heavyweight boxing and training at heavyweight, it's a specialist thing. You can't train a middleweight the way you train a heavyweight. So we're not even talking middleweight here. We're talking about flyweight. So what difference is there, or just minor things you could tell us?
Particular case, it's the temperament and the desire and the will of the fighter that changes my mind, because I have walked away from working with American fighters some time ago. I just lost faith in them. After the Maurice Harris debacle, I just walked away from it. I got so frustrated when Maurice Harris didn't ever come to fruition I said, that's it. I'm not going to work with American fighters no more. So I packed my bags and I got on a plane and I went overseas. Thus, the birth of Igor Plevecko and Vlad Sarenko. And we've traveled in many places in the world together. And I've never had a problem with those two guys. I've never, ever had a problem with Igor Plevecko, Vlad Sarenko, or Anthony Johnson. I never even had an argument with them. And that's a special thing because I've had 1,000 arguments with Maurice Harris. As good an athlete as he was, I had 1,000 arguments with him about the logistics of boxing, about what's right and what's wrong, of how to prepare and what needs to be done. And if a trainer cannot spend so much energy and so much time debating something. If I'm 72 and you're 29, what is that telling you?
Okay, let me spin that on you a second now. Is it potentially your coaching philosophy and way of coaching may be in complete opposite to the American culture or this new era or this new breed of fighter? And like in Europe, people are still sort of like more accepting and less, I don't use the word aggressive, but they're less argumentative. The value is different. They value differently. When they call you to Europe or they call you to South Africa or they call you, if they call you to Europe to do a job or to Australia to do a job, they value James Ali Bashir. But because you're so close to the action, being American yourself, the value system isn't the same. Therefore, you are more suited to be on the road than you are in America. Because there are artists like that as well.
Yeah, of sorts. Many times, we never miss our water until our well runs dry. Okay. You could be right. Being that I'm an American, that I'm right here, people will take my being here for granted until I'm not.
Exactly, that's my point.
You understand? But I'm an old trainer, and I'm not going to take any BS from no boxer. You do what I ask you to do, or you just hit the road. I don't have time to babysit anybody. You have to bite down on what I give you, the assignments that I give you, or hey, just hit the road. You want a BS trainer? Go find one. There's plenty of them out there. But this is how I do it. You have to do it the way I tell you to do it. Why? Because I'm your elder. Because I've been there. I know that. I've been on both sides of the ropes. I understand the logistics of boxing. And if you want to be something, if you want to give yourself the best chance of being something, then you have to hold on to what I give you as an assignment.
Let me throw this out at you, and this may sound funny, but if you look at all the Rocky movies, or most of these Rocky movies, the Karate Kid, the Spider-Man movie, there's always that mature elder statesman, mentor that says, well, with great power comes great responsibility. We had the one who said wax on, wax off. We had Rocky's trainer, Sylvester Stallone. There's always a mature person that was there. In the movies, it seems pretty acceptable and believable. But it seems that in reality or in real time, people want young, hip, fashionable trainers that don't have much substance. Could I be right or wrong in that?
Well, it depends on what the boxer, him or herself, and I say herself sternly, because the girl boxers that's out there now, they put more soul, more effort into their attempts to be great, their attempts to be champions. Those girls put a lot of work into their efforts, and they listen better. A lot of the guys, they want foolishness around them. They seem to thrive off of foolishness, antics, theoretics when they come into the ring, when they're in the training camps. I don't like it. I want a guy that's focused. I want a guy that's serious. And I want the same guy every day. Yeah, everybody has their ups and downs days, but for the most part, I want the same guy or the same girl every day.
Okay. Okay.
When I'm working when I'm working with Ivana Hobson, I can depend on Ivana doing the right thing. You know? Yeah, we have our blowouts every now and then, but she's a good girl, and I know she's going to fight when she steps in that ring. I know she's going to fight. And there's this calm demeanor, but I know under that calm demeanor that there's a fire raging inside of her, waiting to get in that ring. I know Ivana's going to do the right thing once she steps into that
ring. Okay. Just very quickly, people in the room, Mr. PK says, yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy, looking forward to this. Viewer says, hey, we're live. Leif Gramerson, these interviews are always gems. Thank you, Leif. Michael Thomas family says, hello, hello, BWTM Sports, Mr. James Ali Bashir. Then wisdom, viewer says, wisdom is key. I guess some boxers have egos. What's the point of paying a trainer and then not listening to them? Big up, uncle.
Well, I think that trainers now are more or less ornaments. They're nothing there. The only thing they do is say, hey, I'm being trained about this individual. I'm being trained by that individual. And I don't see the production based on the trainerships. You know, they'll say, I'm being trained by this person or that person or this person or that person. And this person and that person is not getting in the ring with you. So you have to listen. If you chose this individual to be your trainer, you have to listen, because boxing is a deadly sport. If you don't listen, you could wake up in the locker room with your brain displaced.
Okay. I have somebody here called Mo Gates. I'm not sure if they're totally informed, but we're going to read it anyway. Mo Gates says, he was in the Dubois camp. How did you allow Dubois to have such a terrible, terrible strategy against Usyk? I'll leave you to answer that one, Uncle.
How did I have him?
How did you allow Dubois to have such a terrible training camp or strategy against Usyk?
I don't think that it was a terrible strategy. I mean, he went 9 rounds. I don't think it was a terrible strategy. I think that he gave as well as he took leading up to the stoppage. I think that Dubois gave a good account of himself under the circumstances. So until you achieve something yourself, chill. That's all. You have to chill until you achieve something greater than that. When you achieve something greater than that, when you become a star, you can look back on this conversation that we have now and say, now, like I was saying, how did you let that strategy happen? But who are you? You haven't established your own self. So who are you? So chill with this nonsense, man.
Thank you, Uncle. Moving on. Leif Graham says, all Aboriginal culture revere elders and their wisdom.
Say that again.
All Aboriginal cultures revere elders and their wisdom.
Yeah, because of the spirituality. Because of their spirituality. You understand? Those people, Aboriginals, they understand the nature of being constructive in any business, in any life. They understand, you know, the things that the Aborigines, that they take to heart. People in the modern, you know, like Great Britain and America, they scoff at stuff like that, you know? So yeah, I from those people.
Viewer says, flex on them, Uncle. Literally Hall of Fame trainer being questioned by a random YouTube viewer. Ignore them, Uncle.
No, I'm not offended. I mean, you know, he has the right to give his input, but it doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it proper. You understand? Doesn't make it right. Doesn't. And you say, how could I allow somebody to do? I can't allow. Once that bell rings, basically the individual is on his own to display what he learned in a training camp. Now it's up to him whether he can carry out the actions of the training camp or not. Some people don't know what boxers go through. They
But
don't
it's
know.
interesting. It's interesting you say it because Anthony Joshua went to the body of Usyk. Dubois went to the body of Usyk, hit him with the same shot, it looked like to me. The difference was Dubois dropped him.
Right. And Dubois didn't go to the body once. He went to the body over and over and over again. All right. He went to the body over and over again. He hit him in places where Usyk wasn't used to being hit at. So I don't understand what the young man saying, that how could I let him do that? You know, Don Charles is the trainer. I'm just following suit of Don Charles. We were together. You know, we were a unit together, and we tried to push Dubois over the line. You know, and Usyk has some role in that. He has some role in that. We can't just dismiss the fact that he's in there with a great boxer, a great talent, a great mentality as Oleksandr Usyk. You know, we can't just dismiss the fact that Usyk is a great talent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Michael Thomas says, James Ali Bashir needs more respect in boxing. He then says, Shakur Stevenson, BWTM, can you ask James Ali Bashir about Shakur's development? It's from your neck of the woods, isn't he? Shakur Stevenson?
Yeah, Shakur comes from the same hometown as me. I was around Shakur a lot when he was a very, very young amateur boxer. I think we even worked a few times in the gym, you know, and he was a streaking amateur boxer. I think that he needs to fight more, in my opinion. If I was the trainer, I would have him box more. I wouldn't have him boxing once or twice a year. I would have him boxing
three times a year.
4 times. I look back at a young boxer like a Roberto Duran, and Duran was always in there, and he was always in there with competitive fights. Duran was fighting the who's who of the division, the lightweight division, practically every time out. He was in there with some high-profile fighter. So I would have Shakur to fight more. You know, I would keep him under the magnifying glass. I wouldn't have him fighting once or twice a year.
Fantastic. Leof says, Mr. Bashir is showing the humility that took to become a James Ali Bashir.
I'm grateful for what I have. You know, I've been there, and I've been with some great teachers and some great trainers over the years. The people in boxing now wouldn't even understand the depth or length that I've been through with the trainers that I've been with. And I picked their brains, and I wasn't too proud or too arrogant to get next to them and ask questions and probe and delve into their minds to find out what made them tick. And those teachings I carry with me, and I will carry with me until the grave. I'm going to take them to the grave with me. You know, the Walter Smiths, the Floyd Logans, the Dale Evans, and Bill Millers, and Frank Shirley's. I'm going to take these guys to the grave. Tommy Parks, all of these guys shared their wisdom with me. All of these guys gave me a look into their world. I didn't just get a direction or a concept or an avenue of boxing from one perspective. I got it from many perspectives. And I chronicalized those perspectives in my brain. And thank God I can still utilize my brain. You know, thanks God so much, because I know a lot of guys my age that don't have that. They're having trouble with Alzheimer's and Parkinson's and things of that nature. So I'm grateful for what I have, and I'm thankful for what I have, and I'm thankful for all of those men who have come and gone. But I'm very grateful, and I honor those men, and I'll honor those guys until I'm dead.
Amazing. You know what? I just had a thought that maybe we should do an episode about just dedicated to each one of these trainers that imparted such knowledge on you. I think that might be interesting because you always talk about them.
Yeah, we could do that, But
Okay.
At different times, I did something that rattled those guys. I jumped the gun about something. I might have spoke out of place or did something inside the training camp or something that they had to call me back. So, yeah, what are you doing? Go down. Go sit
That'd be
down.
good to talk about.
They'd go tell me to say, go sit down somewhere. And I would be furious.
Yeah.
About what my mom said. My mom said, when the elders speak, she said, bite your bottom lip and do what they ask you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
suck it up.
Tommy Parks. Oh my God, Tommy Parks would talk to me so bad, but I respected him. I had such respect for him. A couple of times I could have blew my stack on him, but I didn't. Because I was learning. He taught me so much, so many tricks of the trade. So I had no other recourse but to honor and respect him. And I still honor and respect him, Lee Black was the same thing. And my uno numero mentor, Frank Shirley, oh my God, Frank Shirley, I can't even say the things that Frank Shirley
said to you
on the air. I'm like, I would question myself, did he say I was fighting like a bitch? That you have to,
yeah. Boxing trainers have got no filter for their mouth. They make you feel like that.
He said I was fighting like a little bitch.
Yeah.
Question
your masculinity, your sense of purpose of life. Yeah. Who you are, whether you should even be living anymore. Yeah.
Frank Shirley said to me, you think that I'm going to have mercy on you because your mouth bleeding, your nose bleeding? He said, get your out there and fight. And he give me he throw some water all over my nose, everything, blood all over him. And he threw them out. He said, go back, get out there and fight. Where you
going?
And I would feel sorry for myself. I said, well, but still on Monday morning, I'll be looking for Mr. Shirley. Where's Shirley?
Glutton for punishment, but he was doing you good.
That was my man, that was my guy, but he would say some harsh things to me. And I don't even say that to fighters now. Sometimes I want to say them, but I don't, I had one young man came in the corner in a fight that he was winning, and the guy says to me, take the gloves off. I think my metacarpals is broke. I said, no. We can't take the gloves off. You got one more round. You're winning this fight. He said, no, but I think the metacarpals in my hands broke. I looked at him. I said, hey, man, I'm not a doctor. What the fuck are you talking about, the metacarpals? I don't know what the metacarpals is. And I kicked the stool from under him and said, get out.
Oh, God.
And he looked at me. We went eye to eye as I was stepping out of the ring. And he said, oh, it's like that? I said, yeah, it's like that. I got mad with him. And then he went out there and won the fight. And when the reporter was talking to him after the fight, he said, yeah, my trainer told me I was going to do this and I do that and get out and do it. And in the back of my mind, I said, the punk ass was getting ready to quit. But I didn't let you quit. I didn't let you quit. You know, but you acted like everything was all right, but everything wasn't all right. You was gonna quit. You was gonna turn in. You was gonna turn in. And I said, no, not tonight. You got to fight. I think we was fighting for the. ESPN used to have a tournament, and I think we was fighting light heavyweight ESPN tournament, and they gave you a Buick Regal. And at that time, $50,000. So that was a lot, you know. That was a lot.
Wow.
And
wow.
Won it, you know.
Well done. Next question. This is one that I think we've spoken about before, but we'll talk about it again. I heard Spencer Ferron and Tunde Jai. You remember Tunde Jai, Uncle, didn't you?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do.
When we did that crossover show, I really enjoyed the crossover show. Actually, it was just nice to see another trainer in the room talking boxing.
Yes.
Tunde Jai said that Joshua is needing someone who can support him spiritually, and that Usyk and Fury have a stronger spiritual backbone. Can a coach help with that?
That's a difficult question to answer. I think that in order for a trainer to step in and make an impact on a boxer's career, is that the boxer himself has got to open up and say, hey, I don't know it all. Hey, I need your help. Hey, will you roll up your sleeves and help me change my life? They got to want to admit that I have shortcomings. But if they walk around with an arrogance like they don't have a shortcoming, they walk around with an arrogance because I got a $15-20 million in my bank account, I don't have to listen to nobody, then that's not gonna happen. It's hard for a boxer to listen when they got a $200 million.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I got $200 million. I got $200 million. Who are you?
Okay, so next question. In fact, I'm going to jump the gun on this one. Shannon Briggs is talking about a comeback. Would you train him?
Shannon Briggs, that's my man. Shannon Briggs is my man.
Let's go, champ. Let's go, champ.
Shannon Briggs is my man. He's always going to be my man. But, man, that is a hard job. At 72 years old, I don't want to get involved with that.
Let's go, champ.
That's a tough job. Shannon Briggs is just so eccentric. You don't know what Shannon Briggs is going to show up from one day to another.
Let me ask you this question. Shannon Briggs against Vladimir Klitschko, not Vitaly, Vladimir. How would that fight have ever run out?
It'll be
Shannon had a good chance.
It's a dangerous fight. It's a dangerous fight because both of them are explosive punchers. Both of those guys are explosive punchers. You know? That's why it would be a dangerous fight for both guys. It'll be a very dangerous fight. Both of them have a high boxing IQ. Both of them have a high delivery rate, accuracy rate. You know, they go nose to nose in practically every category. So it could be a dangerous fight for both guys.
Okay. I'm going to talk about something that you're not going to like, but I have to tell you about it. I watched James Toney versus Razor Ruddock. And let me tell you, that was a good fight. For them two old boys to be fighting, that was a good fight. They took their licks, and Toney still looked like he could turn over a few heavyweights today. It's a good fight. It's just the shape they were in, but it was a good fight, Uncle. A really good fight.
Never watched the fight.
It was a good fight.
Well, since
it was a good fight. It was a good fight. I thought this would be rubbish, but it was good.
Well, since you said it was a good fight, I'll sit down tonight sometime and I'll watch it.
It was a good fight because Ruddock was trying to knock Tony out, and it was just nice to see Tony moving his head and using all that defensive stuff that he's used over the years. It was nice. It was nice, and how Tony was using the jab, putting his punches together. Still, I'm like, nice. It was nice.
Yeah, well, Bill Miller trains James Toney, and James Toney never forgot those teachings.
Yeah, so really good, really good. It was good. It was sad to see that I was watching that with such interest because of the standard of boxing today, which is so low, right, that I can sit down and watch Tony and Ruddock and think to myself, damn, these guys were younger still. This could have been a absolute fight of the year. Well, I thought it was a really good fight.
Right.
For their age and stuff. So yeah. So yeah, have a look at it and tell me what you think. Okay, moving on. Do you think sometimes a trainer can be too harsh on a fighter?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I think sometimes the trainers are asking the boxer to do things that they're not capable of doing.
Mm.
A lot of guys are not capable. Every boxer is different. One of the first things I do when I come to work with a boxer, I'll put them on the floor for 2 or 3 days and I'll watch them and see what they're capable of and what they're not capable of. And I'll try to point out the things that I think that they should do with complements their style of boxing, what complements their demeanor of boxing. You can't make a killer out of some guys. Some guys are just purely plain boxers. And you can't make a Sonny Liston out of a guy with a Jimmy Young mentality. No. You know what I'm saying? But I learned something from Tommy Parks. Tommy Parks says, look, don't turn your back on this guy or that guy. I said, why? He said, because that guy comes to the gym every single day. And he takes his whooping and he comes back the next day. He said, you cannot count a guy like that out because he understands the logistics of boxing. He understands the dangers of boxing. And every day, cut lip, busted nose, fractured hand, he comes back. Even if he just got to hit the speed bag. He says, so don't count that guy out. He's going to rise up and he's going to do something. And for the most part, everything that Tommy Parks told me concerning that kind of fighter came true. So, yeah, I say sometimes they can be too hard on them, and other times they need somebody to be hard on them because boxers can get lazy.
Okay. Please tell Mr. Bashir I wasn't trying to attack him. He shouldn't take my comment personal. I just thought he was going to tell Dubois to do like Chisora. We've got two different styles completely.
No, I didn't take anything personal. No, I understand where you're coming from. No, don't feel like that. I just think that nobody can adjust the fighter in that ring but the fighter himself. The fighter's got to, believe me, we tried to calm him. Don Charles and I tried to calm him down the corner. And for the most part, we did. He went 9 rounds. Man, the people that have never been in a professional fight, you don't know the stress. You don't understand the things that goes on in that corner. It's best to try to calm the guy down because you're using up vital energy when you get really excited, when you get hurt. Once somebody get clipped on the chin, it's the ringing in the ears. And then you're trying to talk over that. It's really a very complicated job. And I think that Dubois did a really good job on maintaining his stature even before and after the so-called low blow. So it had a lot to contend with, but I didn't get offended by your saying what you said. Not at all.
D92 says, "Hi, really enjoying this chat. Do you think 31 is too late to start boxing for a career as a heavyweight? I used to train when I was younger, and I've told I've got something. Thanks."
Say that again.
I'll repeat it. It says, "Hi, really enjoying this chat. Do you think 31 is too late to start boxing for a career as a heavyweight? I used to train when I was younger, and I was told I've got something. Thanks."
I don't think 31 is too late. Again, it goes back to what a person desires, what the person's will complements that desire. So no, I don't think 31 is too late to start boxing. I think that 31 just says that I'm going to go where I got to go in a fast.
A little quicker.
31. He's got 31, so he's gotten to 36 to make his bones. I think no.
But he's a heavyweight.
Other trainers will say it's too late to start boxing, but I've seen some things. I mean, Ray Mercer was how old when he started? Before he became heavyweight champion. So you can't say a guy is too old. No, 31 is still a young man.
Yeah.
If he's focused and he has desire and he has the will, if he knows what he's up against, if he can take those shots, when he get hit on the chin, when he get hit on the temple, when he get hit in the stomach, if he can maintain his position and say, you know what, I'm going to get him back. He has that desire, that willpower. Yes, I think that he's a comfortable age back.
Let me jump in there for Dean. Would you be prepared to have a look at Dean?
Huh?
Would you be prepared to have a look at Dean?
Yeah, of course.
There you go, Dean.
How big is
your trainer?
How big is he?
Dean, how big are you? What's your weight and height?
Dean, don't tell me you're 5'10" and 280.
Jesus.
Just
make sure he isn't, by the way. Make sure he isn't. He might tell you that.
Just joking, man.
Heavyweight is different. No, you can start much later. I'm 23, 125 pounds. I've got a much poorer chance of being a good career if I were to box as opposed to a heavier dude.
Yeah, because at 125, you'll be fighting 1,000 years before you become a top 10 contender.
Yeah.
At 125, at 125, they got featherweights falling out the closet, So yes, it's a much more difficult task.
So you got here. Thanks. Really appreciate that. Gonna give it a go. I'm 6'5" and 17 stone.
What's 17 stone? 6'5". That's a big guy.
Maybe 240 pounds, 245 pounds.
That's a good.
Well, he's around 17 stones. Lennox Lewis weight. 17 and a half stone, 17 stone, around Lennox Lewis weight, I'd say.
Like I said, your mentality is your biggest asset there.
Uncle, would you train Andy Ruiz, short and stocky heavyweight?
Yes, I would train Andy Ruiz. But one thing that we'd have to get out of the way, Andy Ruiz would have to come in and say, I'm going to listen. I think Andy Ruiz is a wasted talent. I think that the success he had killed him. He's not making no noise. He's not doing nothing. His talent is just wasting. He should have been in that show in Saudi Arabia on the 20th.
Yes.
Have been in the mix. But then Andy Ruiz is like, and he's debating, well, Wilder don't want to pay him. Andy, take whatever money that they're offering you. Go out there, do the job. You said you can beat Wilder. Okay, go out there and beat him. And then you become a household product. But you ask them for that money. You said money is the key. They're not paying me enough money. Like, you're going to go out there and sit down. I want to get as much money as I can in this fight because I think Deontay Wilder is going to beat me, and then I ain't going to have nothing. So I think that you should just go out there and take the money that they're offering you, beat the Wilder, and then say, okay, now you guys got to pay me.
What does Mr. Bashir think was the most natural fighter he trained?
I think the most natural fighter that I've ever trained is Maurice Harris.
Yeah, you said that a few times.
Harris was the most natural guy because this guy turned professional with no amateur fights, and he went all the way to the top of the heavyweight division. And he was always in there in life-threatening positions. Boxing Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. He was boxing Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson when they were in their heydays. And here's a guy with no amateur background, and he was in there deep. He was in there deep with Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis. Not one time, not here and there, but constantly. If he wasn't in one training camp, he was in another training camp. All right, he was in back and forth with those training camps. So yeah, I'm just calling a spade a spade. Maurice Harris is the most natural boxer that I've ever trained. I mean, I haven't trained anybody that was even close to that.
All right, Uncle. Let's get down to the business at hand, which is the day of reckoning, December 23rd. And let's go through the card and you tell me your thoughts on each fighter. Okay, let's start with Frank Sanchez versus Junior Farr.
Sanchez beats him. He beats him by decision or late stoppage.
Okay.
Junior Farr is out of his element when he boxes Frank Sanchez.
Okay, out of his element. Okay. This guy here, I think, is totally overrated. Aslanbek Makhmudov versus Ajit Kabayel.
I don't know enough about either one of those fighters to make an assessment.
Okay, well, Kabayel beat Derek Chisora and he was European champion, and Makhmudov is just really tall and's got a big head.
I don't know enough about either one of those guys to make an assessment.
Okay, so we move on. Oh my God, this fight is terrible. Filip Hrgović versus Mark Demore.
Demore, didn't he fight
David Haye?
David Haye, yeah.
And when you said Mark Demore, he said he came out of a yellow pages. It was like rent a bum. You called him. God, Uncle, you were terrible. Rent a bum.
What is that? Some kind of a commercial that they're making when they put that fight on?
No. I told you. Listen, I think I've said it before to people, and I've said it to you as well, Uncle. Hrgović is hype. I've said it. Imagine you're going to fight Mark Demore. You go to Saudi Arabia to go and fight Mark Demore. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean,
there's levels to this. Mark Demore. What is that? Is that preparation for a world title? That's the last fight you have before a world title fight? You show me how that lines him up for a world title fight.
That's a terrible fight. I don't want to see that fight.
Any prediction for that fight? I hope I hope Mark Demore turns him over. That'd be fantastic. Just for taking that fight, he needs to get turned over for that.
David Haye, and that was enough to turn me on. I mean, he has to be something super. Even if he gets a knockdown in that fight, it would be a surprise.
I hope Philip Herkovich trips on the way into the ring. That's what I hope. But how can you take a fight like that with any sort of pride? Right, let's move on. Here's the one at hand. Daniel Dubois versus Jarrell Miller.
That's an iffy fight. That's a very iffy fight.
Why?
If Jarrell Miller hasn't gotten into Daniel Dubois' head, Daniel Dubois wins that fight.
Nah, no chance.
Wait a minute.
No chance.
I think if Jarrell Miller hasn't gotten into Dubois' head, I think that Dubois wins that fight, possibly by late round stoppage. I think this is going to be a really tough fight for both guys.
Uncle.
I think it'll be a tough fight. Listen to me.
Okay.
It depends on which Dubois shows up for that fight. If Dubois shows up in that fight, offer some good sparring inside those training camps, Dubois is going to stop him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think that both of them are fighting for their boxing longevity. I think that both of them in a position where I've got to make my bones in this one fight. I've got to make my bones. I've got to establish who and what I am in this one fight.
Let's put this to you.
Must do it. I must. Look, both of them has painted themselves into a corner. They've got to be ready to fight their asses off. You understand? They got to be, when they step in that ring, they got to say, everything is on the table. I'm going for all right.
All right, let me give this to you. If Jarrell Miller comes out, uses his jab, and gets right up in Daniel Dubois' grill and lets his hands go, that fight can be over inside 3 rounds, 3 or 4 rounds, because Jarrell Miller lets his hands go, and Dubois can't handle pressure. Anytime you stick it on Dubois, he's looking for the canvas, and he'll look for the canvas because I'm thinking he's.
Oh, you know what? We're talking again when the fight's over.
Yeah, we will. That one, I'm coming back to you on that one, because me and you've had a few now, which I've been successful on, Uncle. May I remind you?
No, I think you was successful on one of them.
No. Let's not. Do you need to pull them up? Do you need to pull up on you, Uncle? I just pull up on you on a few now. You've taught me well. I'll pull up on you on a few of them.
I'm not gonna go and get into no thing. I'm telling you.
All right, Uncle.
Ball by decision or late stoppage.
Miller within 6.
Okay.
Up inside of Dubois' grill, letting them hands go.
Hey, we ain't got to talk about it no more.
Okay.
Got Dubois. And Dubois is going to be a 2-time world heavyweight champion.
Why, are you going to give him a belt?
No.
Are you going to give him a belt?
Dubois, 25 years old.
Yeah? So,
he's going to be a 2-time world heavyweight champion. I know he's going to do it.
There's 3 things you can't teach, Uncle. Chin, heart, and mentality.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
You're not answering that one, so we'll leave that one alone. Okay. Next. Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. This is a good one.
That's a good fight. It's a good fight, but Deontay Wilder wins the fight.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, Deontay wins the fight, possibly by late round stoppage. 9-10 rounds, Deontay stops him. If Joseph Parker can survive those first 3 rounds, the fight goes to 9 or 10 rounds, and Deontay stops him. But again, Joseph Parker is going to have to come through the woods during that first 3-4 rounds.
Okay. Let me throw this at you. Deontay Wilder, since the last Tyson Fury fight, He had one round against Hellenius, and we haven't seen him for about a year or so. At his age, with the unknowns about the damage he took in the 3 Tyson Fury fights, plus the inactivity, plus Malik Scott, who I don't have great faith in. And to me, while there's one...
Why you don't have faith in Malik Scott?
Why do I have faith in Malik Scott? Well, between him and Wilder doesn't know what weight to come in at. One, you know, he's been a professional, not just 10 minutes. He's been a professional for a few years. So they don't know what weight to come in at. And then when Wilder started boxing in the first round against Fury, he used the jab beautifully. He was lining up Fury and going to the body nice, using the jab, going to the body. And Wilder was doing well. In 2 or 3 rounds, Wilder was gassing. So why was he gassing? That's the second thing. And then the third thing is, Wilder was catching Fury with that straight right hand, and Fury was not seeing it. So why Malik Scott didn't say, keep doing what you're doing? No.
Oh.
So there's a lot of slick talk and a lot of nice things that Malik Scott says. But when I listen to him in the corner and then I watch what he's doing, they had a whole year to prepare for that fight. And that's what you come up with. I'm just not digging anyone out. I'm just laying it out on the table, presenting a case. That being said, Wilder could knock Parker out in the first round with that power. So, your thoughts?
I think that Deontay Wilder has respect for Joseph Parker. I think Deontay Wilder has a better jab, what we've seen in recent memory.
Yeah.
I think his jab is better now than it's ever been.
Okay.
And I believe it's a good match for 4 rounds. But in that 4 round and thereafter, you're going to see Deontay Wilder enthusiasm and his power take over.
Okay. Let me throw this now. That jab. Well, that jab was great in the first round, but you talk about consistency. Was that jab consistent through the whole Fury fight?
Well, I saw Deontay Wilder contend with a jab from, it wasn't...
Hellenius.
No. It was another fighter that he fought. Dubois.
Malik Scott wasn't even in his corner then, was he?
Right. But I saw Deontay
that was
Wilder,
under... What's his guy's name?
I thought
the welterweight.
Yeah, because Dubois was giving him a hard time with the jab. And
yeah,
then
but it was with that welterweight guy.
But Deontay...
Mark Breland.
Yes. But Deontay still had to make the mental adjustment. He adjusted to it, and he came back with his own jab and then landed the right hand.
I believe that was still when he was undefeated and he hadn't had 3 fights with Tyson Fury.
Huh?
I believe that he was still undefeated and WBC heavyweight champion of the world. He has since suffered 2 knockout defeats.
Listen to this here. He stops Joseph Parker in 10.
Listen to this one here. I think if Parker gets inside, it's Christmas time.
Parker is a really, really good fighter. And Parker is going to be a dangerous fighter because Parker is saying, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity to really, really get in the mix. This is my opportunity. If ever there was an opportunity, this is it. I've got to take advantage of this here. I've got to win this fight. So that makes him a very dangerous and live fighter.
What about the fact that he's been trained by Andy Lee and he's been working with Tyson Fury, and Fury knows how to fight Deontay? Does that help?
Fury knowing, do Fury show Joseph Parker how to get up when he's been knocked down? Because that Fury been knocked down a couple of times by Deontay Wilder.
He still knocked him out.
Well, he's showing Joseph Parker how to beat Deontay Wilder. He's going to have to show him also how to get up from the floor. Shit.
I can't continue with that one. I can't continue with that.
Shit, because Tyson Fury was on the floor a few times versus Deontay Wilder.
But look at this. Wilder's sharpness, is he still as sharp at that age? Has he still confident? Has he got confidence?
I think the timeout may have done him well after the defeat to Tyson Fury. The timeout may have done him well. I believe that Deontay has been working. I think that him and Malik have been working behind the scenes. I think he's going to be sharp as a razor when he steps in the ring.
Yeah, all right. Let's see how sharp he is if Parker get up close and let his hands go.
Yeah, if as my mother would say, my mother said, if wishes was horses, beggars would ride.
I can't argue you. I cannot. You win the debate for now. December 23rd. I'm coming back for you.
All right.
So you're going with Wilder. All right. Now the big one. The one that's got everyone talking. Anthony Joshua against Otto Wallin. So first of all, let's start this one off by talking about Ben Davison in the corner and training Anthony Joshua. There are some people in Britain that think that Ben Davison is the right guy for the job. Ben can handle it. He's the right man for the job. Your thoughts, Uncle?
Ben Davison is just Ben Davison. Ben Davison won't be inside that ring when Otto Wallin and the champ. I got a brain freeze again.
AJ. Just say AJ.
All right, AJ.
Yeah, see, you said it. That's us.
I think Otto Wallin knows a lot about Deontay. AJ. I think Otto Wallin knows a lot about AJ, and AJ knows a lot about Otto Wallin. I think that is going to be a good fight. Otto Wallin is not afraid. AJ is looking to drop some early bombs and try to get him out of there. If AJ doesn't get him out of there inside of 3 rounds, it's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be a really tough fight. You know, Otto Wallin is a really good fighter, and I think he has yet to make his entry into the upper echelon of the division. With a win over Joshua, certainly puts him in the forefront of boxing.
I've renamed this day of reckoning to end of an era. Either Joshua or Wilder are getting beat. If they both get beat, well, that's terrible. But one of them are getting beat on that night. One of them are going to get beat for sure. Because that fight should be made.
You think so?
One of them are going to get beat.
I know that this is a scary fight for both guys.
Mm-hmm.
2 solid upstarts that could upset the apple cart.
Absolutely.
Be very respectful of Otto Wallin going into this fight. I would be very, very respectful of Joseph Parker, because these guys have got to be thinking day in, day out that if I win this fight,
life changes.
I'm going to be sitting on top of the division.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. End of an era. I don't know who yet, but it's end of an era. So let's talk about.
You notice nobody mentioned putting Zhang in the mix.
Yeah, well, that's another one. You don't want him anywhere near him at that moment, because he's going to put everyone's lights out the way he's fighting at the moment. I wouldn't put Wilder in with Zhang. Wouldn't do it.
Nobody in with Zhang. I wouldn't put nobody in with Zhang.
You know, is he
Zhang is the heir apparent.
Is he still around?
Yeah, I was with Zhang day before yesterday.
Can you do 2 things? Can you do 2 things? 2 things. Can we get Zhang on BWTM Sports, and can we get Mr. George on BWTM Sports as well?
I can try to make it happen.
Okay. We put that on the side, but thank you so much for that, Uncle. Appreciate that. Okay. Talk to me about how you would feel if Vlad Tsarenko said he wants to spend 4 days in a dark room.
What? That's what I would say. What?
Also, Anthony Joshua went, supposedly went paid X amount of money to.
It has some significance to Anthony Joshua. But if Vlad Tsarenko said that to me, he wanted to spend 4 days in a dark room. If you don't do what I'm telling you, you'll be in a dark room at a hospital.
Oh, that made me laugh. The last thing made me laugh. The room started spinning.
Yeah. And, come on, make some sense, man. I don't know why he did that, but I guess it has some significance to him. But I just don't buy it.
I'll tell you what it is. He went in a dark room because he was going to face 3 people: Drew Miller, Deontay Wilder, and Otto Wallin, all on the same table. I'd go to a dark room if I was in his position.
I just don't know.
Okay, so Joshua's been with a number of trainers recently. If you're going to describe to me Anthony Joshua's style today as a trainer, what would you say his style is? Is he a counter puncher? Is he a puncher? Is he a boxer puncher? Is he a slugger? What style is Anthony Joshua?
Again, I don't understand the significance of what he's trying to do. I don't understand. I'm baffled. I guess it has some meaning to him. But I'm trying to figure out, how do you hone your craft if you're switching trainers every 4 or 5 months? I just don't understand that. I just don't understand it. How do you hone your craft if you're doing that?
How do you improve?
Like I said, it's hard to tell a guy that's got $150 million in a bank account, which direction he should go in. Just imagine yourself, just sit back and imagine yourself, you got $150 million, $200 million in a bank account. Just look at your mind. You're thinking that I've already got it made. I don't, I can experiment all I want to. I don't have to be successful at this point because I've got that $200 million in a bank account.
He said now he's going to be free. I remember making a statement after he split with Robert Garcia. Said, no, McCracken. He said, yeah, now I'm free. And this is what freedom has. This is what he said. I never said it. Free spirit was the word. Free spirit.
Like I said, 200 million, a lot of freedom.
When you see, after you were with Joshua and you were talking with him, you met with him that time, when you see what the decisions.
Met with Joshua a few times.
Okay.
All right. And we've always sat down and we've always talked. I didn't get none of that 200 million, but we was together. I wish he'd have gave me a gift or something to go with, what I'm saying?
1 million. Here's $1 million. Yeah, go on. Off you go.
But not even $1 million, just, a couple 100,000. Yeah, take that deal. That's something to remember me by. That would have been nice.
How does it make you feel when you see, with all the knowledge that you have, all the wisdom that you have, and you see this young man going through trainers like he's going through, I don't know, underpants?
I look back and I say, you know, I've seen it so many times over the years, you know, like saying this guy could be so much of a great fighter. And it seems like these guys don't grasp the situation until it's too late. So when I see that there, I say, oh, this guy is blowing it. He can be such a great fighter. He has all the attributes to become a great fighter, you know? I'm just saying, where's his mentality? Why is he doing this, you know? But I guess he knows what he's doing.
In the history of your boxing coaching career, have you seen, are there any benefits whatsoever by constantly changing trainers?
No, not in my career. And I've been doing this 56 years, like I said, all over the world. And I just don't see the significance in that. I don't see the benefit in that. But again, Anthony Joshua, I suppose he knows what he's doing. You know, he knows what he's doing. If that backfires on him in this fight versus Wallin, it will not be a surprise.
I have a theory about this fight, and I think it's a media-led theory, and I think AJ's going to fall hook, line, and sink for it. I'll tell you why. The media in the UK are pushing the narrative that AJ needs to go back to AJ of old. They're talking about AJ pre-Klitschko. And they're saying, well, the suggestion is that he's not the same fighter anymore and that he's lost the passion and the fire. And he needs to be more passionate. Therefore, he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to go out there and knock guys over like he did back in the day.
Well, again, it goes back to what I just said. It's $200 million. You've got that in the bank account. You got to think the mentality of a man when he's got that 200 million. When you got that in the bank account, it's hard to steer a man's mentality a certain way.
And then Ben Davidson's coming now, and he's going to want to make a name for himself. I'm the man that got Joshua back to being aggressive. I'm the guy who's got Joshua being back a power puncher. I'm the guy who's got Joshua being a beast. And then Joshua's actually going to follow those instructions to go out there and try and blast Otto Wallin out there. But he's going to walk onto a counter, and that will be the beginning of the end. I called it for the Ruiz fight because I just think that, I mean, how can you go into a world heavyweight title fight against Usyk worrying about what Tyson Fury's got to say to you that you can't box? So that's the reason why you boxed against Usyk instead of going to take him out of there.
You know, I had Igor Plevecko boxing with Otto Wallin quite often.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I know that Otto Wallin is a young man that's very well suited for the style of Anthony Joshua. This is going to be a real fight. This is going to be a really good fight. I understand. I've been with Otto Wallin quite often. I told you inside the gym, we're always together, and this could be a difficult fight for Anthony Joshua, especially in the trenches. You get to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It could be really, really testy. So he's up against the wall on this one. I don't know if Ben Davison, that's his name, right? Ben Davison?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So he's the overnight put him in a jar and shake him up trainer. He's the Houdini of the moment. I don't know whether it's going to work.
What you say 200 million, but okay. So why is he getting in the ring now to box then? Is it ego? Is it pride? Is it money?
Yes, he's working on the third 300.
Oh boy.
You know, I guess that's what he's trying to work on now. I've got 200. Now I need one more 100 million, and I'm good.
Okay.
But he's playing with fire. He's playing with fire when he comes in with that notion that, you know, nobody can tell me what I need to do.
Does AJ look like a fighter that's following instructions or cutting corners when you see him fight now?
I think that AJ is boxing to stay out of harm's way and get as much money as he can before he walk out the door. But he doesn't. But he doesn't give me the impression that I like what I'm doing.
Okay, he says he's been influenced by Klitschko, because Klitschko did the same thing: stay out of harm's way, use a jab, and knock a guy out.
Well, I'm not mad with that. You know, if I can go in there and box a guy without getting hit, you know, like Floyd says, the art of boxing is to hit without being hit. So if you can do that, you can't really argue with a guy. But at the same time, you can't be boring. And it's hard to do both. You can't be boring. If you want those people to buy pay-per-view, if you want those people to put butts in the seat, you've got to be excited. You've got to give something back to the people who paid to see you.
So you've seen Otto Wallin up close, and obviously you've worked with Usyk. Compare and contrast the styles.
Usyk and Otto Wallin?
Yes.
No, there's no comparison.
Okay, why? Both southpaws.
Just two different styles.
Okay, explain to the audience.
Jerky, you know, now I'm here and now you see me and now you don't style. And Otto Wallin is more standard to the boxing style, the southpaw boxing style. Did you see the fight between Bert Cooper, orthodox fighter, versus Michael Moore, the southpaw fighter?
Yes, I did. Great fight, by the way.
Bert Cooper fought Michael Moore the way that everybody should fight the southpaw. Bert Cooper said, listen, I'm going to take it to you. Whatever I got to eat, I'll eat. But when I get close, I'm going to let these bombs go. You understand? He didn't go out there trying to figure him out. He didn't go out there trying to think. He just said, let's go. And he went to work.
But can AJ do that anymore? Can he get out the traps first round and just jump on Wallin? Can he do that? Has he got the ability to do that anymore?
I think that he better, because if he doesn't, he's asking for trouble. One
thing I've noticed about Otto Wallin, he seems to get hit a lot with a right hand.
Well, it's supposed to be the kryptonite for the southpaw boxer. I wouldn't have train a boxer that was orthodox to depend on that right hand. There are other combinations that I would have him depend on, that I would train him to utilize in a fight.
That being said,
everybody and their mother know that the southpaw is vulnerable to the right hands.
And Wallin gets hit with it all the time. In the Fury fight, he was getting with it. Even the last fight. What did you think of his fight against Gasayev? By the way?
I never saw the fight.
It's a good fight. Even rocked Gasayev and backed him up.
I gotta see it. I never saw the fight.
Good fight. He outpointed him.
Made.
Okay.
I didn't think that much about the fight with Gasayev when they made the fight, so I wasn't interested. But I will watch it since you told me to.
Good fight.
Okay.
I didn't like the way Wallin was getting hit with the right hand, but they're saying he's improved a lot. I mean, he did very well against Tyson Fury. Very well, Wallin.
Yes.
And Wallin.
Physical statures means a lot. Gasayev is shorter than Wallin, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. AJ is the same height as Wallin or taller.
Okay.
And that can make the difference in how the fight is fought.
Okay. So, what would be your keys to victory for Wallin versus Joshua?
The keys to victory?
Yes.
To push him back. Push him back with a persistent jab. Okay. To make AJ fight backing up. But don't allow AJ to assert himself to bring the fight to you. I think that Wallin needs to back him up, and every single chance he get to hit AJ with that left hand. I don't care where you hit him. Don't hit him below the belt. But any place you can hit him with the left hand, he should land that left hand as often as possible. I think for AJ, he's got to land left hooks. Left hooks, body and head. He's got to learn left hooks to even think about throwing the right hand, because Wallin and his trainer is going to be prepared for right hands. So he's going to have to be able to throw left hooks to be able to get in the door.
Joshua Parker. No, Joshua Parker. Parker Wilder.
Parker Wilder. Wilder to land the right hand, Parker to avoid the right hand landing. That's the end of
that. Don't get caught. Okay.
Just don't get caught. I think that Parker needs to box, circling away from that right hand, and I mean box all night long, and he can win a decision. But he's got to avoid getting hit with that right hand. And I believe that Deontay has improved with the jab. I'm telling you, I think that that jab is going to be kicking in this fight versus Joseph Parker.
Let's see consistency. Let's see if he can keep that jab going for 12 rounds. There was something I spoke with you, and I didn't talk to you about it. I think I did it on my show before I spoke to you. And I talked about Tyson Fury's style. And I said that he's the only fighter in the world that I know. No, actually, that's not true. Klitschko as well. That adjusted their style based on one fighter. Pre-Wilder and then post-Wilder. And then since the Wilder fight, he bulked up and he's just walking forward and using his weight to close people down and just overpower them. That's what Tyson Fury is today, as opposed to Tyson Fury who fought Klitschko, who was herky-jerky, moving around, using the jab, not easy to hit. This version of Fury is getting hit way too often, heavy, and seems to be getting heavier. And it's a very basic style in comparison to the Fury that fought Klitschko. And I just don't see the skill set that everyone's talking about today. Back when he fought Klitschko, yes. But now I just see a big dude who's heavy and just tries to overpower and outweigh people. And when he tried to do that against Ngannou, he found a guy that was physically stronger than him, better than him in the clinches, and could punch very hard and can take a shot, which gave him problems. Your thoughts?
I believe much of what you said to be true. I embrace that, what you just said. It's a good scenario. It's hard to go past what you said. It all connects.
And there's a problem now, because for him to beat Usyk, he can't be using that basic style trying to go and overpower Usyk like that.
No, Usyk is going to be prepared for that.
That's what I'm saying. He can't box like that because Usyk will beat him if he boxes like that. Even his father now comes out and says that his father said that Tyson's style now is too one-dimensional and he cannot box like that against Usyk. If he does, he doesn't beat Usyk. This version of Fury cannot beat Usyk. That's what his dad said. Your thoughts?
I don't think he could beat Usyk anyway.
Wow.
I don't think so. I don't think that tactic he did against Derek Chisora, I don't think that tactic is going to work with Tyson Fury. I mean, with Usyk. I don't think that tactic is going to work. Usyk is just, as I said before, he's the David Copperfield of boxing. Usyk is a crafty, cunning wolf, and the usual traps won't work with him. He's going to have to bring his A game. He's going to have to lose some of that weight. He can't come in there weigh 290 pounds and think he's going to beat Alexander Usyk. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. He's going to have to be able to keep up with Usyk, and if he can't keep up, then that's his ass.
Let me throw this at you. With such short, they're saying that the window for Tyson Fury to get himself into that sort of shape is not available to him because the fight is so soon. Your thoughts? So you won't be able to lose that weight.
I think that Tyson Fury would have had to have been working on this fight prior to this fight being set. So I think that's been going on behind the scenes, in regards to what he might look like in the press conference. I think some work would have to be going on behind the scenes already, because he knows that the time is February is not a long time.
Can he get down to the weight necessary, or is that too much weight to take off? Because his dad said when he took off the weight, he was weaker. So what do you think about that?
It's saying that you're going to take off the weight is one thing, but I understand boxing, and it doesn't work like that in boxing. You need some of that weight just to have energy. And if you take off too much weight, you're going to be weak, and you don't want to be weak versus Alexander Usyk. All right, because if you come in weight weak, Usyk will know that within the first 3 rounds that you are weak and that you are trying to preserve what energies you have. He's going to know that because he's like a wolf. He's going to sense that. And if he senses that there, then he's coming to get you.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Tyson Fury has great. He should be greatly concerned because this guy can he can turn the corner. He can do things.
The things you're saying to me, I remember you being concerned about Klitschko fighting Fury. Now you're concerned about Usyk. You're concerned for Fury fighting Usyk. Interesting.
Yeah. I know Alexander Usyk, and he's a special fighter. He's a special fighter. And he's not easy to beat.
People think, well, now just go to the body and you'll beat him. If Tyson Fury hits him to the body, that's it.
Yeah, it's a good tactic, but when going to the body, you gotta be ready for him to go to your chin. Just like everybody else is listening to these interviews, he's listening to him. He says, you know what, I got to straighten this body thing out. When they go to my body, I'm going to give something back to them. I'm going to give them something to worry about too.
In your opinion, do you think Tyson Fury was out of shape against Ngannou, or do you think that he was in decline?
I don't think that he just took Ngannou serious. I don't think he took him serious. I don't think that he took him serious. Nonsense. This guy is an MMA guy. He's not going to be, it's easy for him to fall into that trap. I would not allow him to fall into that trap. I said, look, this is what you got to do. You got to be prepared. I would have just kept on letting him know, be aware that this guy's coming to fight. All right. And if he's not coming to fight, I'm going to assume that he's coming to fight. He's got everything to gain this fight, nothing to lose. So you got to be aware. And I've been telling my charge that every day. You've got to be aware. If you're not aware, that's when you get caught. And he got knocked down.
Their history, the Kronk style, we're going to say the Kronk style because that's a media thing to say. The Kronk style versus the Usyk style, does it work?
Like I say, you're boxing the David Copperfield of boxing when you box Alexander Usyk. And he can shut any style down. He can make any style look corny. He can make any style look ridiculous because Alexander Usyk is the Copperfield of boxing. It's going to be very, very difficult to box.
All the stuff that Fury's doing at the moment, trying to get into Usyk's head. Oh, you're ugly. You're a small man. You're a rabbit. I'm going to smash your face in. All this stuff. You think that has any effect on Usyk? You knowing him?
No. No, I don't think it has any effect on him.
I actually thought when he got up in Usyk's grill and started pushing his head against Usyk, I actually said, right, mate, you've gone over the line. You've gone over the line with Usyk, and you're going to get the very best of Usyk because of what you just did. That's what I thought. Having studied Usyk over the years, your thoughts?
I don't think it makes a difference one way or another. I know Alexander Usyk wants to win that fight. He wants to be called undisputed. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to beat him. Very difficult.
Another thought is people say, oh, well, he had a bad fight against Ngannou, but the next fight is good. Tyson's going to be in great shape and he'll do it. What happens if he is in decline and what people expect of Tyson Fury is not what they're going to get?
If he is in decline, he'll get knocked out versus Usyk. He'll get knocked out. He'll get KO'd. He'll get stopped in this fight if he's in decline. If he's truly in decline, he's going to get KO'd.
Tyson's on, for me, what I notice of Tyson, when he gets hurt, he'll tuck up and he'll try and walk you back and he'll try and walk Usyk back. Let's say against Steve Cunningham. When Cunningham dropped him, he got up, put his hands together and walked Cunningham back. Same with Wilder. When Wilder dropped him in that first fight, he put his hands up and he walked Wilder back. That's how he knew how to beat Wilder afterwards. So if Usyk drops him or hurts him, he will walk Usyk back to the ropes, or he'll try to walk him back to the ropes if he's hurt. That's what Tyson will do.
It's very difficult to walk Alexander Usyk back to the ropes. If Usyk doesn't tire, it's very difficult to back him up to the ropes because he's always giving angles. He's twisting and turning, and he's punching off of those angles.
What about leaning on Usyk, leaning on him, leaning on his back, the old school, lean on your back and sap the energy from the legs?
That can wear any fight out. But again, Usyk won't be there. Tyson won't be able to lean on him like that. Remember, both guys are going to be on their P's and Q's in this fight as not to allow anything to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are going to be on their P's and Q's because this is a very, 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 this is for all of the marbles.
The referee, how important is the referee in this fight and what would the referee have to look for or be aware of if you're in the corner of both guys?
Well, I can see it being a tug of war over the referees.
Okay.
I can see it being a big tug of war over the referees. Yeah, I think it's going to be a big problem. So the fact remains about who is going to be the referee for this fight. I can see both camps jockeying for their kind of referee.
Okay. Kenny Bayless, would he be a good referee for this fight?
Absolutely not.
He was good for Floyd.
Yeah, I know.
Who would you have as a referee then, if you had your choice?
Too good for Floyd.
That's Floyd's friend there. So who would you have as a referee then?
I don't know. You know, I mean, boxing is becoming such a shady sport. You don't know whether the guys is using drugs or whether the referee has been given a envelope.
Uh-huh.
That's a big problem.
It is a big problem.
You know, somebody sends the referee an envelope, you know, through one person, through another person, through another person, through another person, through another paper, say, here, this is 6 months before the fight, but here's this envelope. This is 6 months before the fight. Here's the envelope we're giving you.
Tony Weeks.
Hey, you know, Tony Weeks he messed up in a fight, in his last big fight. You know, it's just so hard. It's so difficult. If somebody passes an envelope to a referee in the months preceding a big fight,
Yes.
here, word is you're going to be the referee. So here's $150,000 cash, and you got another 150 when this fight is over.
Wow, life changing. Wow.
So that you know, that makes it
Okay.
hard.
Can you answer me this question? Why is it we get the same judges in all these big fights, and they make poor calls, they make poor judging decisions, fight after big fight, and they never get disciplined?
The general consensus is that those judges are taking envelopes. All right? They're taking envelopes, and then they're gapping that envelope up with other people that's behind the scenes.
Wow.
That's what the general consensus is, that they're taking envelopes. And I'm going to take some other people that's down with the setup. I'm going to make sure they get theirs too.
Okay.
It's becoming. You don't know what's going on.
You don't. So we've talked about
Ngannou fight. That
yes.
fight should draw or either split decision, but not no unanimous decision. Not no unanimous decision.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Point should be inducted for the elbow from Fury, and a point should, and obviously the knockdown. Put them together. Those fights, those rounds were very close. Okay. So we talked about the judges, the referee. What about the ring size? What do you think is a good ring size for this fight, for Fury and then for Usyk?
Well, Fury's going to want a smaller ring, and Usyk is going to want a bigger ring.
But does it depend on who's got more belts, or does it depend on who's got more social media followers?
Who's got influence when it comes down to the judges? I think the guy with the most belts should have the last say.
That's what I'm thinking.
You know, you got to respect the guy who's holding the most belts. Now, the guy is holding one belt. Usyk is holding 3 belts. Fury is holding 1 belt. So Usyk should dictate the size of the ring.
Another question. Back in the day, I remember when it was champion versus, I was still young, champion versus champion. And one champion would come from one corner and the other champion would come from another corner. And they'd come out together. Why doesn't that happen anymore?
You mean from the locker room?
Yeah. Both champions came out at the same time.
No, it's always as far as I remember, it's always been the champion came out last.
No, I'm talking about champion versus champion. Both champions came out at the same time.
Yeah. I don't know. Modern times.
I think it's horrible. I think if it's champion versus champion for undisputed, then both champions should come out at the same time.
Yes.
They're both champions.
Yes.
And undisputed.
You have no contest with me. I agree.
Makes it special. Because that, from what I remembered, I could be wrong, But back in those days, that's what made Undisputed special, because you'd see one champion coming out and another champion coming out at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Your thoughts on an independent, like in football? Oh, is Uncle there? In football, is he there? Is he coming? Is he going? He's played hide and seek. He's on the phone. I'm sure the phone calls come through. Let's give him a minute. He'll be back in a moment, Uncle Bashir. Hope you all are enjoying the show, by the way. Make sure you smash the like button. Please hit the smash button, the like button. I don't know where Uncle Bashir's gone at the moment. Maybe he's on a call. Let's wait for him to come back. He's gone, Uncle Bashir. I think he'll be back. Thank you so much. Glad to hear you're loving the show. Let's go for the comments. Uncle's back now. I think he was on. I'm sure he was on the phone.
Yeah, I had a phone call.
Yeah, they've told you. They've probably said to you, Uncle, that you should tone down the stuff talking about referees and judges. They probably sent you an envelope. Are you going to send you an envelope?
Yeah, I wish. I guess I'm too much of a hard nose. I'm not gonna get no envelopes.
On the subject of hard nose, let me come back up here because this might be an interesting one for you. It's a good question. Do you think AJ only goes with trainers who let him do what he wants? Maybe that's why he didn't choose you. That's a hot one. That's a hot one, Uncle.
I can't make an assessment, but I tell you one thing. As much as I like money, as much as I need money, when do you have enough money? I've never heard of a person that said I have enough money. But as much as I like money, as much as I need money in my life, you know, I wouldn't be able to rest at night. I wouldn't be able to rest at night if I know I didn't do the right thing in that training camp. I'm old school in the fact that, no, this is how we got to do it. I want to make sure that the fighter does everything that he can to win that fight, or she does everything that they can to win that fight. I don't want to go behind the scenes and split up the money and say, yeah, we snowed the people and we got this money. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Okay.
And then somebody else will look at it and say, well, that's old fashioned. We got to get this money, and this guy's not going to play by the rules, so we got to leave him out of the picture. But I'm not going to have a fighter come in and take shortcuts, and I know he's taking shortcuts. Going to the ring, I wouldn't feel right.
Let me throw this one at you. This is a little different. Maybe I'll call this one curveball. Joe Joyce. I feel, this is my personal opinion, he was set up for the Zhang fight. He was set up. In fact, I heard the story. This is what the story I heard. Joe Joyce will fight Zhang. Zhang will beat Joe Joyce. And then we're going to get him to go into a rematch. And then Zhang will knock Joe Joyce out. And that will be Joe Joyce out of the heavyweight picture. Your thoughts?
Yes.
Well, it's happened. So we can't say it's BS. It's happened.
I thought that was a bad choice for Joe Joyce to fight Zhang back to back. I thought that was a bad choice on the management's behalf for them to take the Joe Joyce fight back to back. And you know what? Because he took those fights, it's going to be hard for Joe to get back in the run. Joe was right. Joe was right at the top.
He was. a stupider fight as Gary Mason fighting Lennox Lewis. He was ranked number 4 in the world. He was in line for a world title fight against George Foreman. He went and fought Lennox Lewis, who was ranked, I don't know, 15 in the world.
Yeah. You know, see, some fights you just don't take. Don't worry about what the people think or what the people say. In a financial situation, you say, no, that's not a good fight for me.
It wasn't a good fight. I could see it. Stevie Wonder could see it was a bad fight. Ray Charles could see it was a bad fight. It was a bad fight. Just announced. Just put it on paper.
KO'd the first time by Zhang, and then you arrange to fight the guy again 6 months apart. That was like hello. Does anybody see the wrong in this fight?
I mean, just listen. If you just listen to his manager, a guy that doesn't know anything about boxing, the guy hadn't a clue. Hadn't a clue. He was talking about, oh, Joe Joyce throws X amount of punches around, and he's got a great chin. I'm thinking, yeah, don't worry. Zhang throws less punches, but every punch that Zhang lands with that left hand will knock you out. Don't worry about that. He's got, oh yeah, well, Joe Joyce has got great stamina. I'm like, what? Okay.
In the second fight, Zhang knocked Joe Joyce out with the right hand. It wasn't the left hand. He knocked him out with the right hand. Jesus. And Joe was on his back for a few seconds after he got hit that floor.
I knew he was going to get knocked out of the fight. I knew it. Even the way Joe Joyce was coming to the ring, the way he was talking during the press conference, his energy was completely whack. So what would you do now, Uncle? I've presented Joe Joyce to you. I said, you know what? I've got rid of that trainer of his, that circus trainer, what his name is. Kick for aerobics trainer. Salas. Yeah, to get rid of him. Get rid of him. Get rid of Adam Morley. Because if you've got a manager that's talking you into this fight, and it's clear to see that this guy's going to knock your fighter out, and you're still talking greasy, you've got to go as a manager. And Salas has got to go as a trainer, because all the time Salas was with him, Salas never taught him no defense. So what are you training? You got him hitting a tennis ball and dancing to the lambada. So, I mean, it's not a dancing contest. But, I mean, what are you doing to protect this guy from getting hit, taking shots like a stopping shots like a goalkeeper?
What I know is that it's a long way back for Joe Joyce.
Long way back.
If he'll ever get back, you know.
You mean no way back? Long way back, no way back. At this current state, no way back.
It can.
Me.
It's hard. It's going to be difficult. If he gets back, it's going to be difficult.
You know what? I would stick him in, and I'd stick him in, give him a warm-up fight, and go and have it eliminated against Andy Ruiz. I'll make him fight Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz is right-handed, and he got dropped by what's this guy? This old pensioner. What's his name? Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
I'd stick him with Andy Ruiz. I don't have a problem with Joe Joyce fighting a right-handed fighter. I have a problem in fighting left-handed fighters.
Yeah, well, you know, Joe Joyce is in a bad place right now. You know, I feel for him. He's a good guy. I feel for him.
Would you train Joe Joyce?
Oh, yeah, I would train Joe Joyce.
I'd love to see you train Joe Joyce.
I'd have to have Joe Joyce to myself.
Okay.
You know, to have him to myself for at least 6 weeks prior to us going to a ring.
Okay.
And I would apply the same things to him as Emmanuel applied to Lennox Lewis and like the big men, you know.
Let me throw this at you. I called Joe Joyce the British George Foreman. I'm going to call Jarrell Miller the poor man's or this era's Riddick Bowe. And not for style, but for character.
I don't think Jarrell was quite as gifted as Riddick Bowe was.
No, he isn't. But I'm talking about His character. I'm not talking about his fighting style.
Yeah, he's a street guy, tough guy.
Like Bo. Talk like Bo. But he talks a lot like Bo.
Yeah.
Bo used to talk like that all the time.
He's a street guy, tough guy, But I've seen guys like Jarrell Miller. You got to punch Jarrell in his mouth and say, "Hey, man, sit down, stop acting like that." And if that don't work, then you got to fight.
Jarrell Miller versus Anthony Joshua. Who wins that fight, please? Today.
It's a good fight. I think that guys that push up on Anthony Joshua is the same thing. You'll get the same results as guys that push up on Maurice Harris. If you push up on them, then you're going to make them fight because they resent somebody trying to make them look bad. Anthony Joshua has a mean streak, and Maurice Harris had a mean streak too. Maurice just didn't want to do nothing to get in shape for a fight. But if somebody tried to push up on him, if somebody tried to punk him, then they would make him get in shape and he'd come to fight. You look at the fight between Sergey Lakovic versus Maurice Harris. Maurice was the first one to beat Sergey Lakovic. Sergey Lakovic came into the fight undefeated, and Maurice took that fight on 7 days' notice. But Sergey Lakovic kept pushing up on Maurice, trying to punk him, and that made the mean streak come out of Maurice. And Maurice said, "All right, I'm going to show this guy who I am." He knocked him out.
Wow.
Maurice, and I don't think that Don was expecting that. I mean, why else would you give somebody $100,000 to come and knock your guy out on 7 days' notice? Because that's why I'm giving you $100,000, because it's 7 days' notice. So I'm gonna give you $100,000, and my guy's gonna knock you out. But no, he didn't know that Sergey Lakovic had talked so much trash to Maurice. Maurice said, "I'm gonna knock this guy out." So I commend Sergey, because Sergey pumped Maurice so much that by the time Maurice got to the ring, I said, "I know this is gonna be a good fight. And we stand a 50-50 chance on winning this fight, and we did. Maurice knocked him out. It's there on YouTube. Maurice Harris versus Sergey Lakovic. Go look at the fight. You can see that Maurice wasn't having it. No, he's not. Not tonight. You might beat me another night, but not tonight. And that's what happens. So I think that Jarrell would paint AJ into a corner and make AJ fight. See, AJ is not going. He's got that mean streak. You try to push up on him, and he'll fight.
Who wins?
It's a good fight. I'll take AJ though.
Okay. Final question of the night. We've been going almost 2 hours. Final question of the night. In the landscape of boxing, are there any trainers up and coming now, not old school, up and coming trainers that when you listen to them, you go, okay, I can see where you're going with that. Or, yeah, I like your work. For a young trainer, I like your work. Or, yeah, that's somebody I would keep my eye on. Anybody?
I'm not exposed to a lot of young trainers. I'm not around them a lot.
Okay.
And I think that the best young trainers are seekers of knowledge.
Right.
And I'm not privy to that because I'm around a lot of young trainers at different times. Not a lot, but at different times.
Right.
I have yet for them to come to me and try to pump me for information.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do it. They're in the gyms and they're trying to show me what they know, which is not, I don't think, because I sit back and I observe, and I don't credit them for knowing much or the application. I don't think they know much, but I don't say nothing. It's just like many of the older people now in life, they don't say nothing to the young people. because the young people's out there doing this and doing that, and they don't relate to the fact that it's a lot of contempt and disrespect. So I see the same thing in boxing, you know, in the different parts of the world that I've been in, you know,
Okay.
Poland, Ukraine, South Africa, Dubai, Australia, New Zealand, Switzerland, Sweden, France, you name it. You know, wherever I've been, I've seen the young trainers come in and they do their thing. And I sit back and I observe and I say, these guys are making a dozen amateurish mistakes and they have no idea about what they're doing. They only do things what they think that's right. All right. And they not one time do they say, listen, could you part wisdom with me? Could you tell me some things? What do you think I should do in this case? What do you think nobody does that. They don't come to me. They don't say nothing. The way I did when I was around these older trainers, every time I thought I can sneak in and get some information out of them, I'd go to them, especially Walter Smith of the Kronk Gym. He was a guru. He was a wise old man. And I always got him to Walter, you know, and we would sit and we would talk for hours.
Okay. Let me stop you there. You were able to talk to Walter because Walter was approachable. Do you think from your persona as a trainer that you are approachable? Now,
well, I think that better yet, ask the people in your viewing audience, do I seem approachable? I think I'm very approachable.
Yeah, but I'm having it, and we're doing an interview now. But the interview isn't paying you now to go and produce the next heavyweight champion of the world or put you on a sort of pressure that would show different elements to your character. And the only reason why I can talk like this now is obviously now because I've kind of progressed a bit more in my coaching career, which now makes you look at things more as a coach, not as a technical standpoint, but now from a mental standpoint and being a host and a facilitator now. So it's like, how do you host? How do you facilitate? How do you command your room now? That's the question I'm asking now. Like, it's a different question to ask, but now
it still boils down to the question yet, am I approachable? I think that question would be best asked to the listening audience. I think that I'm a rational guy. I think that I'm an easy guy to communicate with, regardless to what topic you approach me about. I'm always eager to share what knowledge I have about the business that I'm in, business/sport, because I view boxing as a business first before I view it as a sport. I think that I'm a very approachable guy. I'm always willing and eager to part my knowledge with these young people that's coming up in the sport, because I understand that I will not be here on earth forever. You understand? So when I have young people that come to me and say, hey man, can you share with me? Can you show me this? That? And I show some young people stuff, different things I show them with the proper application is, and they still do it wrong. It's like, start with, I say, I don't have to do that. This is how I do it. And they go,
Yep. So let me throw this at you. As you say what you're saying right there.
Wait a minute, they go right back to doing it the way they were doing it.
To doing their own thing.
And I say to myself, well, what the hell?
That's a common thing. Right. That's a common thing there. Now, if I come to, I don't come to you. Fighter comes to you. Good fighter, always got potential, but his head's a bit brainwashed. He comes to you and says, yeah, well, I like my trainers to go, and what you call boxercise, aerobic training. He's a good fighter, but he's got brainwashed. And he's come to you for advice, but he's brainwashed by the whole fancy Floyd Mayweather pad work. How do you engage that fighter in a manner which you can set aside your feelings towards the boxer size thing and still get that young fighter engaged?
The best way for me to do that is to say, listen, you saw what happened to Willie last week, right? He said, what? I said, Willie, he's in the hospital. You know, he's not woke yet. They're still trying to wake up. That's what's going to happen to you if you keep that shit up.
You didn't say that to Joshua by any chance, did you?
This is what I'm showing you. This is the way you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that stuff in a fight. Because, first of all, if you do it in a fight, you're going to be exhausted in 3 rounds. You're not going to have the energy to go 10 rounds. All right? So be realistic in your approach. You have to be realistic in your approach and your applications. That's all you can listen, you can benefit from if you just listen. So when I come out and I try to approach these young people and show them the proper way, they still go back to doing what they were doing in the first place. I said, well, what the hell did I do?
So I said it was only your last question, but it's because of, okay, we have these trainers that are, there's one trainer, I've told you before, the trainer, he lined all the fighters up against the wall. And he wants to make sure that the fighters in the gym can take a good punch. So he walks up, they all line up against it, and he goes up to, and he left hooks everyone. Pow! In the chin. Pow! 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 They all line up getting hit on the chin with a left hook. Your thoughts?
Listen, I was just saying, man, you need to see a psychiatrist, and I'm out of here.
Why? Why, Uncle? Don't say that to me. Why?
No, ain't nobody hitting me. Nobody's hitting me. All right? You hit me in a boxing ring, I got a chance to hit you back. But ain't nobody gonna have me line up against a wall, walk past and hit me on my chin to see if I take a punch. I'm taking a punch. Get out of here. I'm not doing that.
Hold on.
That's another stupid antic. It's a backward antic.
What? Okay, hold on. If you've got a fight in the gym that cannot take a punch, right? It's a quick way of filtering them out, isn't it?
No. The boxer should only take the punch as when he's in a sparring match. All right.
See, I'm asking this question. I'm joking in one way, but I'm very serious in another way. Because these are techniques that are being used out there, and people are watching it on the internet. Same with the Floyd Mayweather stuff and the pad work. People are watching it and going, that looks great. That's boxing. That's what I want to be doing. And then they'll come to a trainer like yourself with that idea.
Well, I don't think it's right. Okay, good. That was the charge. That was the charge.
Final thing I will ask you tonight. I don't know how Manwar Shah managed to get that WBA belt back. I don't understand. If somebody can explain to me.
Before, man, he got the envelopes.
Who, Manwar Shah?
Yeah, the envelopes. That's how he got it back. What you talking about? You don't know how he managed to. The envelopes.
He's a Don King fighter still, isn't he?
I don't know whether he's with Don King or not.
But now he put up a poster and he's calling out Derek Chisora to fight for the WBA Heavyweight Championship of the world.
Oh.
What are your thoughts?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I wish he could call Vlad Sarenko to fight him for the WBA belt. Can you get word to Derek Chisora that Vlad Sarenko will fight him for the WBA belt? Vlad Sarenko is 19-0 with 16 knockouts. We can go to Saudi Arabia tomorrow. and fight him next month.
It's Manuel Shah's got the WBA belt, I understand. So Manuel Shah wants to fight Derek Chisora, but
We'll go to Saudi Arabia and fight him next month. Vlaserenko's 19-0 with 16 knockouts. We're capable. Let's take the fight. It'll be more of a justification than Derek Chisora fighting for the title.
Yeah.
It'll be more believing than Derek Chisora fighting for the title. What is he talking about?
Interesting. Gonna get Vlaserenko back in the ring soon.
What did those guys just said? I saw some writing come on. What did they say?
I said, the powers that don't want James Ali Bashir, look at him, old dinosaur, disgraceful season.
Do what?
They don't want you. The powers that be, look at him, old dinosaur, disgraceful season. The powers that be don't want James Ali Bashir.
Yeah, I suppose so. I suppose so. I'm a dying breed. Yeah, I know that. But what can I do? I can't help myself. I'm trying to bring forth the best fighters in the world. And if one listens to me, I'll take them to the top of the world. That's why I maintain my relationship with these guys. You ask yourself, why does Lennox Lewis contact me daily? Why does Vladimir Klitschko contact me daily? Because I've got something that they like.
You know what? There's one thing in over the 10 years we've known one another. There's one interview that's eluded me. Vladimir Klitschko. Even though Vitaly is my favorite, Vladimir Klitschko, that interview has still eluded me.
Right. I would like to, but the guys all over the world.
I know. It's potential, especially now as well.
In Rome, tomorrow he's in Alaska. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those ones. Uncle Bashir.
Love to get that interview for you. I would love it.
I mean,
listening.
Zhilei Zhang is good enough. Zhilei Zhang and his trainer would be good enough. Oh, this was the final question I was meant to ask you. How good is Zhilei Zhang and why?
Zhang is a dangerous fighter because he believes in himself. Zhang, I've been around Zhang for many years. I mean, many years, and Zhang is a dangerous guy. I had Maurice Harrison boxing Zhang. Zhang is a dangerous guy, and he believes in himself. That's what makes him even more dangerous. And now that he's knocked out Joe twice, his confidence is sky high. It's through the roof now.
Is he the best heavyweight in the world?
I think he's the best heavyweight in the world in waiting, in the wings. I think the reason that he's not the best heavyweight in the world is because those people who are considered the very best heavyweights in the world hasn't fought Zhang. But I think right now he may very well be the best heavyweight in the world at this moment.
How does he do against Usyk?
I think Usyk would, like I said, be a bit difficult for him to lay hands on Usyk. A bit difficult. But I'll tell you one thing, it would be a very, very, very risky fight for Usyk at this time because Zhang is, as they say, Zhang is feeling his Cheerios.
Okay.
And the powers that be does not want that fight. And if I wasn't involved with Zhang, I wouldn't be interested in putting my guy in with no Zhang right now. No, not unless they're going to pay. Not unless they're going to pay a lot of money for it.
Zhang versus Wilder.
If they come up and say, "Hey, we'll give you," if they come up and say they'll give you 700,000, 1 million for it, I'm in there. You know, my guys are in. But man, I got to get paid for that fight. I got to get paid, and anybody with common sense would try to get paid for that fight, because a fight with Zhang could be a really, really telling battle.
Zhang versus Wilder.
Very, very dangerous fight for Wilder. Very dangerous fight for Wilder. And anybody else.
Zhang versus Fury.
And anybody else. Anybody that get in that ring with Zhang right now is asking for trouble. I told you the guy's confidence is through the roof, and he's not taking no for an answer, and he can punch like a government mule.
Yeah, he's dangerous.
He can punch like a government mule. Igor boxed Zhang before, and Igor told me, he says that Zhang can punch.
Yes, if we didn't know, now we do know for sure.
I was in the gym with Zhang day before yesterday, me and Igor, and Zhang looked like he's about 6'8" and about 280 pounds. All right? He looks to be about 6'8". It looks like to be about 280, 290 pounds. But it's not sloppy on him. That's 280, 90 pounds. Could be 290. It's on him. It's on him nice. It's distributed through his legs, his back, his shoulders. Everything is distributed nice, and he looks like he's feeling his Cheerios. He wants to fight, and he's going to be a difficult guy to beat. Zhang is not a joke. Zhang, I'm telling you, anybody that get in that ring with him, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, anybody in that top 5 right now, they've got to be very concerned that they can lose that fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody that has any confidence in what I say, I know heavyweights, and I'm telling you, Zhang, if I'm not on the train getting some of that money, I would keep my fighter. If Zhang going south, I would go north, east, west, anywhere away from where Zhang. I'm not getting in there with him. And by getting there with him, you got to pay me, because I may not never get another shot to go anywhere else after that fight.
Yeah. Serious business.
You have never seen Zhang up close?
No, I haven't had the pleasure. The closest I've got to something that big is Marius Vac or Ustinov. That's the biggest I've seen, apart from Tyson, Ustinov, and Vac.
But Ustinov wasn't a puncher. Zhang is a puncher. Ustinov was just big.
Yes.
And the other guy, what's the other guy from Russia that was so big?
Vac.
Huh?
Vac.
Not Vac.
Marius Vac.
Vac was Poland.
From Russia. Oh, yes. The ugly guy that David Hay fought.
Yeah. He couldn't punch.
Who wins between him and Zhang? Who wins?
Zhang knocks him out. You kidding?
Wow.
Zhang knocks him out because Zhang can punch. Not just big, he can punch. He knows how to get his power on those punches.
Zhang versus Big Baby Anderson. I wouldn't even take that fight if I was Big Baby Anderson. Go the other way.
No, Big Baby Anderson gets knocked out.
Miller
too. I'm telling you, they don't want nothing to do with Zhang. Why you think that none of those guys has fought Zhang now? Because the powers that be knows to keep those guys away from Zhang. You think Miller and those guys, they could have had that fight. They don't want that fight. You don't hear nobody even mention a fight with Zhang. They don't even mention a fight with Zhang because they know what's going to happen. They know like I know. I'm not the only one that can see. I don't want to go nowhere near Zhang.
Frank Sanchez.
Somebody said something about Zhang. I say Zhang who? Zhang, what's Zhang? What's that? Something to drink?
Yeah. Zinger burger. That's what I'd say. Zinger burger. Give me a Zinger burger, not a Zanger burger.
Yeah. Because dangerous fighters. And I'm telling you, confidence is through the ceiling right now. So that would be the wrong fight for anybody to take. That's why I can't understand Joe Joyce management calling out to have that fight twice. That was ridiculous. I can't
Suicide.
get that. Why would you go and take that fight twice? And mind you, Zhang knocked him out with the right hand on the second fight.
Zhang versus Andy Ruiz.
Zhang. Ruiz is just too small for Zhang. Zhang will knock him out.
Ortiz?
Get hurt, huh?
Ortiz. Lose Ortiz.
What about you want to sell fruit?
It's not me it's asking these questions.
Killed by Zhang.
Zhang versus Frank Sanchez.
Frank Sanchez will run around the ring for about 7 rounds until Zhang catch up to him.
Uh-oh. Okay. Zhang versus F.A. Jagba. Aha. That's a guy.
Oh, F.A. Jagba would get knocked out early with Zhang.
Oh, no.
He would get knocked out early because he would try to punch with Zhang.
Exactly.
And F.A. Jagba can't punch with no Zhang. I like Zhang. I'd like to be in the camp or something, carrying the water bucket.
Yeah.
I ain't got to be the trainer. I carry the water bucket. I make a water bucket do tricks. I can make a water bucket do tricks, man. Just let me get in the camp because he's the star for them all. I'm telling you, Zhang is the star for them all.
Yes, he is.
The only thing that stops him from being the champ is people that won't fight him.
Mm-hmm.
You see this? Look! You see this shirt that I got on? You see this?
What's
here?
it say? What does it say?
Can you read it?
So something about a prize fight. It says definition of a prize fighter: professional boxer trying to get some income coming in. PCBI.
Precision Craft Boxing International.
Aha!
You see that?
Well, you should add Precision Craft Boxing, Uncle. There.
You see that?
Yes, I see it, Uncle. Is that your new?
This been out for years. I've had this for years.
Well, I've never seen it, and I've known you over 10, so I don't know where this been out for years.
Years.
Maybe it's been in your cupboard for years, but I haven't seen it in years. I've never seen it, so I don't know where years. There's years in your cupboard, maybe. I've never seen you wear it. I've seen the other Precision Craft at the back.
And this is what I point out to the athletes that I train. A professional fighter is always trying to get some income coming in. But you get these guys to say, look, I'll make a fight that say, look, I've got a fight where the fight's going to pay you $25,000. Yeah, but that's not enough. I said, for a 6-round fight? Well, like that's not. They want me to go to Canada for $25,000. Yes. Wow, that's not enough for me. I said, that's not enough. $25,000 for 6 rounds is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
$25,000 for 6 rounds is a lot of money. But you're all right. You don't need it. I'm the only one that needs it. All right.
Wow.
My 13%. I need my 13% of that. All right. As a matter of fact, get yourself another trainer because I ain't got time for this nonsense.
Wow. Tell it as it is, Uncle.
Yeah. I get a call and they said, we're going to give your guy $25,000. All right. To come to Canada to box this guy. $25,000 is unheard of for a 6-round fight. That means we walk out the door with $25,000.
Wow.
we're walking out the door with 25,000. After taxes or everything else, the promoter said, I'm guaranteeing you guys 25,000.
Right.
That's a lot of money for a 6-round fight.
It is.
No, I don't want to fight this, this. I said, well, find yourself another trainer. I got shit to do. I need to make my money. You think I want to go in the gym every day with you hitting on me, knocking me all over the place, and then when I get a fight for you, you say, oh, $25,000. Well, what do you want for a 6-round fight? 30, 40,000? Let me know. And I'll tell the people out there what you want, that you're not going to fight. I mean, these guys acting like they're in demand. Then you're not in demand. You're not in demand. Get out there and do your job.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they call you a prize
fighter.
Prize. The prize is 25,000. So you're saying what? 25,000. What? 6 times 3 is what? 18 minutes. If you go to distance, it's 18 minutes. But you should be going this with the thought in mind that I'm going to get rid of this guy in 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Oh God. But that's the case. So that's what I'm up against now, with the different people that I come in contact with now and over the years. They don't want to. They don't want to do the. Wait a minute. They don't want to do the job the way they're supposed to do the job.
What you really need to have there is a middleman that will just come in, or middleman or middlewoman that will come in and say, right, to cut all that nonsense out. That's why gatekeepers come in handy. Gatekeepers come in, and their job is that they deal with all that rubbish for you.
No, because then I got to pay them. No.
But the time being saved, you'll get more money on the back end.
This is between me and the fighter. I got a job that's paying you $25,000. It's 18 minutes of boxing. Give me my money. All right. You take your money. That's your money. All right. You're going to take the lion's share of the money. Just give me my 13%.
Okay.
Then I got people coming in the door, managers coming in the door saying, well, I thought the trainer get 10%. So things don't change in boxing?
Yeah.
Cost of living, gas, water, electricity, all this stuff is combined in a trainer's life. I'm asking 13%. If you can't give me 13%, go get another trainer. I've been out there 56 years. I got to get 13% of everybody. I don't care if it's $10,000. You got to give me my 13%. And if you don't pay me my 13 cents, you got to go get another trainer, because I'm not no novice trainer. I've been out there 56 years and I want to get paid for it. All right. That's my position. That's my and look, I'm not just talking. I'm producing. You give me the fighter, 6 weeks. I usually take 6 weeks to prepare a fighter for any fight. I don't care if it's 4 rounds. I'm preparing the fighter for that length of time. Give me my 13%.
Where's our guy now? What's that guy's name again? Who wanted to be a trainer? Who wanted a trainer? Who just wanted to make a comeback? Where is he? What's his name?
Shannon?
Yes, D92. D92. Uncle Bashir says he'll train you, but give him his 13%. Shannon Briggs, watching the show. He wants his 13%. He doesn't mind. Make it come back 13%. But actually 15%.
People
92% out of it.
People watch this program.
Yes.
Sitting back on their love couch and stuff. Man, I want to be a boxer, blah, 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 blah. Everybody huffs and puffs until they in that gym where it's usually 85 to 105 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then you're in there with another guy and he's punching on you. And then you got to get out of there, and then you got to get up and you got to hit the heavy bag. You got to skip. You got to do all things. And that's just the first day. What about those other 30 days that you got to go through this here stuff? I'm telling you, when they get in the gym, they come back and say, hey, man, look, I'm driving trucks now. for the soda company.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Easy.
Doing it when you don't, having to do it when you don't want to, getting punched on the ropes. You don't want to be there. You're not in the mood. Your trainer's shouting at you. You don't want to be there, but you have to get on with it. And if you don't get on with it and you don't produce, your trainer's going to start shouting and screaming at you. So you just got to get through it. Find a way to get through it.
Let me tell you, I know what I'm talking about. I've been in the gym with the heavyweight champ of the world, all right, Vladimir Klitschko. And I've gone to Vladimir and said, hey, man, after 12 rounds with 4 different guys, I'd go to him and say, hey, man, you need to do 3 more rounds. And guess what?
He got on with it, and he did it.
He
That's
did
professionalism.
it. Not one time, not 2 times, but many times.
Yeah, but that's different. That's the professionalism necessary, which is very not as often or not as available as one would want or hope in this era.
What are you asking?
He said here, anyone enjoying this interview, a thumbs up for BWTM could mean more videos like this. Agreed.
Because you know what? Because I'm calling it like it is. I'm not here to do a show. I'm just telling you what I'm feeling in my heart and my mind as a professional.
Yeah, well, that's what you got to do.
You know, you don't go to the Mercedes-Benz company and say, well, I'll give you X amount of dollars. You pay. This is what we charge.
What? That's the value. Pay for it or get lost. That's it.
All right.
That's what it is. It is what it is.
Do you want a trainer that you can rely on, or do you want to go down to the dollar store and get that kind of trainer? I'm going to get in there, roll my sleeves up and do the job, but you have to pay me 13%. All right? You have to pay me 13%. You got to get there, and the fighter got to come in there and work. And the fighter liable to come back and tell you any day, say, hey, man, this guy is going to work me to death. No. If your mentality is that mentality that says you're going to work me to death, then probably so. But I've worked with Igor Pleveko, Vlad Serenko, and this young man that I work with now.
Let's not forget you work with a former cruiserweight champion of the world, Alexander Usyk.
Yes.
Those people.
For 3 years closely.
People can't say that you're a dinosaur because you working.
I work with this young man, Anthony Johns. And we're in a hot gym and we work. And not one time has he says, hey, man, that's enough. Hey, man, you work me too hard. I've done it with Igor Pleveko, Vlad Serenko, not one single time ever. And we worked together all over the world. Not one single time have they ever said to me, I don't want to be here. That's the kind of boxer that I want to train, that understands what it is that they're up against. When that bell rings, they understand that this is the loneliest place in the world when that bell rings because you're there. And the only thing that you're armed with is what we worked on in the gym. Those are the only things that we're armed with. When I walk in that ring, I'm confident that this guy's going to do the job. You know, I don't want to be the guy that's in the corner saying, hey, man, my left hand feel like the metacarpals is broke. I said, man, I'm not no doctor. I'm not no physician. What the hell is the metacarpals? And I kicked the stool from under him. And the guy said, oh, it's like that? I said, yeah, it's like that, man. We got to get our money. Go out there and win the fight. He won the fight. Yeah, my trainer told me to go do it, and I did it. Man, damn it. I went out there and I took care of business. But the people in the audience didn't know that this bitch was ready to quit. If I didn't kick that stool from under him and say, get your ass out there and work, he would have quit.
Yep.
But I wasn't going to let him quit because we was that close to the rainbow. No. You got 3 more minutes. But your lungs are burning. Your arms are tired. Your legs are tired. and you feel like I can't go on. But that spark, that anger that he got angry with me. But that anger made him, propelled him to go out there and overtake the opposition. You know, he overcame that his fatigue. He got angry and went out there and did it.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to train, you know, they've got to be willing to go through the fire to do it.
Yes.
Those guys don't get millions of dollars. Anthony Joshua's got to have $200 million. Deontay Wilder's got to have close to $200 million, if not over that. But they made up their minds that I'm here and I'm an entity to be dealt with. Give me my money, and I'm gonna knock some. Like Deontay Wilder said, they're coming to Saudi Arabia to see us because they know I produce knockouts. I put people to sleep. He said that's what people are flying to Saudi Arabia to see, because they know when I come in there, I'm coming in to put somebody to sleep. Did you see how AJ was looking at Deontay on the podium? Did you see how huh?
He's been like, man, I need to go and spend 4 more days in that dark room. He was going, I need to spend 4 more days in that dark room.
Watching the way Deontay, but the way AJ was looking at Deontay, like, and I like that because it adds interest to the heavyweight division.
Yes.
You know, I can't wait till they fight.
Yeah, well,
and I hope it's an interesting. I hope it's
never happen.
Because
it never happen.
It can only be an injection in the arm of boxing.
Absolutely. Let's hope they get through both of them get through their fights, Uncle. And I'm not so sure of that.
So I would like to see the two of them get in the ring and for it to be for it to go 12 rounds. I'd love to
see it too.
I would love to see that because it's interesting. It'll be an injection in the arm of boxing to see what would happen. The myth surrounding the two of them in the same ring.
Yeah. It's a great fight.
Sure.
It's a great fight, but will it happen? I don't know, because these idiots keep matching these guys. The fight should be happening on the 23rd of December. Simple as that.
Look, this is a scary situation. This was the excitement for me is about the 23rd of December is because you got these guys, Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Versus Wallin. And the mystery is what will happen. Will one of them get knocked off? Will both of them get knocked off? Because you got two hungry opponents. These guys are hungry. They're sitting back in their hotel rooms right now saying, if I knock this guy off, if I knock him off, I'm in the picture. So that's my lottery. That's my lottery. Knock his chin off his shoulders, I'm in it. And that's it. That's where the excitement lies. That's where the excitement lies, because you got a live heavyweight division. And I'm training my guys right now saying, listen, we got to stay in shape. In the event that somebody injures themselves, we can get a call any day and say, we got to go to Saudi Arabia because we're going to fill in for somebody that got injured. So we're sitting on the porch of thousands of dollars. If we come in the last minute, they got to give us 500,000, 600,000, 700,000, depending upon who it is. If it's Anthony Joshua, AJ that we got to go in to fill in against, then we can walk in and pick up $1.5 million.
What about you guys versus Dubois?
Huh?
If Miller fails, you should be putting yourself down for the Miller fight, because Miller's possible to.
Listen, sure, we could fight Dubois. That's the name of the game.
Yep.
You know, if somebody fails in that fight, we can fight Miller. It doesn't make a difference. We're going to come in here and do our best.
So let's make a statement. Serenko is on standby for December the 23rd. You want to say that? Are you confident you can get? You reckon your guy will be ready by December 23rd?
Yes, we're working right now. Yes.
All right. Well, we'll put him Serenko, put
Now,
Serenko on standby.
Vlad Serenko is working every day. He understands.
Make a statement for this title. Make a statement for this.
When you
Your
got
statement
that,
is,
when you got that many heavyweights,
yeah.
Anything can happen.
So then, what's your statement to the boxing world?
I'm
With
saying
Vlad Serenko.
ready, willing, and able to step in for anybody who gets injured. All right,
Okay.
Frank Sanchez, his opponent fell out, will fall in. All right, Daniel Dubois and Miller fall out. Whoever falls out will fall in. We're there. We're there. We're working. We're in shape. We want to fight.
Okay.
I mean, what if we're not there in boxing to get paid? Then what's the sense of calling yourself a prize fighter? But just if we come in to Saudi Arabia with a 7-day notice, you got to pay 700, 800,000.
Okay.
You got to pay us that money because we coming in late. You know, information without anything. We coming in late. Give us the money, and we're gonna come down there and do our best.
Well, that will be the title of this, Uncle. We're gonna have to call it a halt now because it's 2 hours and 30 minutes, and maybe we'll come back for the Benavides and what's this guy's name, and Andrade tomorrow night. Andrade. How does that sound?
Yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
All right, Uncle.
We're talking.
Everybody,
we're talking.
We are.
You know,
we are. We're loving it, and it's great to have you back. Everybody, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up.
Where's Denise at? Where's Denise?
She's not around. She's gone missing. But I'll send her the video and get her involved.
Okay. Well, tell
Uncle,
Denise we miss Denise. Tell her we miss her. You know.
And what's his name? What's this guy's name? Eugene.
Yeah,
yes.
Eugene got a mission to find that video. I'm telling you, that video of me and Usyk on
he says he could not find it. Could not find anything. He's been searching, and he's a good one.
Not even a picture.
Not even a picture.
Wow. I tell you, son, that's terrible. That's terrible.
We're going to try and go for the media and see if we can go somewhere. Someone for the media can leak it.
That's so embarrassing. Oh God, that's very embarrassing. But it is what it is.
See if we can get it leaked. All right, Uncle. Have a great night. And to everybody, make sure you smash that like button so we can do more videos like this and it goes viral. Have a great night. And Uncle Bashir, once again, thank you so much for your knowledge, your wisdom, and understanding.
Please.
We're so grateful.
Thank you. Good night, all. Good night.
Good night.